Remember the Freedom Convoy and the protests on Parliament Hill? There was something so refreshing about seeing Canadians using their voices to unite against what many saw was a huge government overreach, specifically the mandates. But after the emergency measures were enacted and police dispersed the trucks and the crowds, things seemed to quiet down, perhaps too much and too soon. After all, Justin Trudeau, our prime minister, never met with the protesters. He never had that important conversation. And while some mandates were lifted as a result of the Freedom Convoy, many still remain in place. Enter James Topp, a current serving soldier who has served with the Canadian Armed Forces for 28 years, who is actively speaking for the many Canadians who have lost their jobs because of the mandates, or for the many Canadians who have felt coerced into getting the jab. So what makes James Topp's protests unique? Well, James is protesting by walking 4,395 kilometers across Canada, from Vancouver all the way to Ottawa. He started at the Terry Fox statue, actually, in Vancouver on February 20th, and plans to arrive in Ottawa sometime in June. Welcome, James. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi there. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, this is a first for me. I've never interviewed someone who is actively walking, but I'm really thrilled that you are bringing us along your journey because I want Canadians to know what you're doing and I want them to know why. So let's just start right in there. First of all, where are you now? At the time of this taping, where are you?
Well, it's the timing is good because we're coming into Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, and we're just going to be crossing through the city here on the way to Belle Plaine. I'm trying to get 50 kilometers in today.
Okay.
We got you pretty much got everything. Summarize everything about why I'm doing this earlier on. I'm a federal government employee myself. I was placed on leave without pay from my public service job that I had started back in March of 2021 after I had transitioned from the regular army to the reserves. And when I had done that, I went from full-time to part-time army, and it allowed me to pursue this alternative career. So I kind of got I kind of got hit with a 1-2 punch. In November of last year, I got informed that I was going to be placed on leave without pay
because of the mandates.
That's correct. Like it's the mandates. It's not necessarily just vaccines and vaccine policies and so forth. It's the overreach of the government that I have an issue with. So the disclosure of medical information that should otherwise may remain private, and that kind of thing was just part of it, right?
Right. So and I think that's important to highlight because I think there are many Canadians who, for people, they see it as a black and white issue. You got the job, you're fine. You didn't, well, then, that's your consequences. But there are many Canadians who actually, even before the mandates were brought in, they weren't comfortable with revealing their status, understandably slow. It's private medical information. And furthermore, they weren't okay with the testing. And so there are a whole contingent of folks, of Canadians, who also have been sidelined with employment because of this.
Right, and it was just my objection to the whole way it was done. I do not believe that, I'm a federal government employee. I do not believe, even though they are employing me, that they have the right to tell me how to be healthy. I'm perfectly capable of doing that on my own. So I placed on leave without pay with my from the RCMP job where I was working as a civilian, and then I was informed not long after that from my reserve chain of command that I would be having to sign a series of recorded warnings in order to fulfill an administrative release that was going to happen because of my failure to comply with Chief of Defense Staff Directive on vaccination policy, which I objected to for the same reasons. Okay, can we just cross over? So that was... that happened, and what happened after that was I do get a pension from my regular force service, which is enough to pay my mortgage. but I need to supplement my income. So what was happening was that.
Okay, James, I've got to stop for a commercial break. We're going to come right back to you, but keep walking and we'll join you in a moment.
Sure.